Grandpa, where is Marlecio?
Your brother? With Grandma.
With Grandma? It's the perfect time to tell him. I'm sure he'll understand. I said goodbye to Grandpa, then disappeared from the scene and reappeared at the cemetery. I used a combination of the dark and solar blessing to find my brother. It could be that he's not actually at our grandma's grave, but walking, talking to someone, at Mass, or somewhere. With the combination of the dark and solar blessing, I can see through the sun and the dark areas, thanks to which I located my brother. I appeared a few feet away from him and looked around to find him. I saw my brother kneeling down, looking at the grave. I walked over to him and stood behind him. Is he focused on the grave? Is he praying? I can't tell if I don't talk to him. What are you doing, brother?
Shall I see Grandma and think about something while you do it? Did you get the books?
I'm the one who should be asking that first, but well, I guess I was just looking at the grave. It's kind of depressing. Grandma didn't have any blessings, which is why she's in the cemetery for the unblessed. I didn't want to think that way, but I can't help it. The place is horrible. If it weren't for Grandpa, my parents, my brother, and me, the grave would be in pieces and made of some horrible material, and the mini garden would have already died. This is because the blessed don't want to get involved in this area. They say the unblessed should take care of it since it's their cemetery and all that. Although they're right, an unblessed person doesn't earn even half of what a blessed person earns. Furthermore, there's the added fact that non-blesseds don't have access to infinite resources like my brother and I do, since blesseds have full control over the element they wield, being able to generate it at any time. The issue of stamina is the reason why you have to train a lot once the blessing awakens, although the vast majority take it easy. But oh well. I made the mini bookshelf with the book appear next to my brother. It's just this one. My brother turned his head to look at the mini bookshelf, took out the book to look at it, then while holding his book with his left hand he pointed at his backpack with his right hand.
Grandpa just gave us a book too. You can look at it if you want.
I bent down to open his backpack, grabbed the book, and then sat on the floor with my back to him to look at the book. I don't mind if my clothes get dirty, I can make another one, and I don't even have a uniform. Although I must admit that when I sat down, I felt the roughness of the ground. I lowered my head to look at the ground, then noticed it had cracks, pieces of rocks lying around. It looked like there had been an earthquake or lightning had struck the street. Although I preferred to ignore everything, with the book in my hand, I began to examine it in detail, from top to bottom, including the pages. It looks very old and worn. I imagine my brother didn't say anything to me because I would have noticed it myself. Although it's obvious, this is the book of the first one, the one that started it all. Incredible. Neither my brother nor I know anything about her, but being there first is impressive. She's the creator of the entire family line. She must have been someone very strong, or so I think, although the blessings at the beginning are a complete disgrace. Or at least that's what some people say. No one has been able to answer that question correctly, but maybe, just maybe, the answers are found here. I used my power to open the book, but nothing happened. Of course, my mother's powers wouldn't work to open a book like this. After all, it wasn't until my mother's blessing was added to the family. I switched my power to my father's, and bingo. This time I was able to open the book. I just want to skim through it. From what little I can see, there are many words in pages. The pages look worn, which doesn't surprise me. I closed the book. I'll read it later with my brother. I looked at the graves, people crying, others dancing on them, and others simply observing or leaving flowers and things. I wish this cemetery looked better, but it looks like a ruin. It must really hurt these people to bury their relatives in a place like this, knowing that the cemeteries of the blessed are much better done. I didn't have to turn around. I knew my brother had the power of mom activated so he could look at one of the books.
Sister, did you use your blessing to not forget your memories?
I remained silent for a few seconds. It's not something I want to hide. In fact, I was waiting for this moment to happen, the moment to tell him something I've been hiding inside for a while. Yeah.
I understand.
My brother remained silent, thinking. I could tell by his face and the way he placed his hand on his chin. I stood up, gave him back the book, and stared at the surroundings. When we were at Grandma's funeral, they didn't tell us anything, not even how she died, absolutely nothing. Her body was in perfect condition even before she died. Think about it, they didn't tell us anything. Grandpa cured her of any illness or pain, or at least that's what they told us since you weren't even 5 when everything happened. I don't know, brother, I feel like there's something strange. My brother put the book in his backpack, then placed the other one on the shelf. I made the shelf disappear after he placed the book, then he stood for a few seconds staring at the floor.
I understand you, sister. I also feel like there's something strange, but maybe there's something in the books that we don't know yet.
You're right, if they gave us these books it's for a reason. With so much training it's already clear that the books would only serve as information, especially considering that the blessings become stronger with time.
But still, sister, one question, what do you want to do?
What do I want to do? What does this mean? I have several ideas, but I don't know the right answer to your question. Brother, excuse me, but I didn't understand your question. What do you mean? My brother stood up, grabbed me by the shoulders and looked at me.
You want to train, get stronger, find out what happened to Grandma, become a holy knight, even go to the final trial that has the mission of reclaiming the land, but why? Why do all that? You don't owe anyone anything, no one is waiting for you on Earth.
My brother is right, it's not normal for someone like me to have those goals in mind. After all, I don't have any problems. I don't want to prove anything to anyone but myself. Although wanting to recover a lost planet full of creatures is crazy for someone who wants to test themselves and realize how strong they are. Or at least it is in some cases, since from time to time I use my power to speak with the dead. Some are warriors who fought great battles just to overcome someone or themselves. Of course, regret is evident among them. There's no need to ask them if it was worth it, since regret and pain are evident on their faces. But satisfaction is evident in others, as others had noble goals like wanting to protect their family, nation, legacy, among other things I can't quite remember now. Mental note, always remember what the dead and spirits tell me in case it's useful in a conversation. I felt I should restrain what I was going to say, since among the stories the dead and spirits told me, some were about brothers with a rivalry filled with pain and suffering, where one tried to outdo the other, their older or younger brother, for things like power differences, being the parent's favorite, envy, resentment, even frustration from older brothers when they see their younger brothers are stronger and more skilled, including things like preferring to send the older brother who spent his life training to be a monk somewhere, and sending the younger one who never trained to be a military commander. It also reminds me of a story from the Bible. I think they were Cain and Abel, right? One day I have to practice my blessing until I can speak to them. But putting those things aside, I don't know if my brother and I have that kind of relationship. He and I are similar, or so I think. We're sun and moon. We both have our parents' powers, except our father's solar is the main one. And although my mother's blessing is of death and spiritual connection, in my case it's called lunar, which is quite right, honestly. We even share very important bonding abilities in combat, but even so, there could be a rivalry between us. After all, it's something we were given at birth, not by our own will. To say that my brother and I won't have a rivalry just because our abilities are equal, and we have some at work when we're together or apart, seems ridiculous to me. I definitely won't hold back on what I say. Whatever his answer is or what happens now, I will suffer the consequences. Prolonging a potential conflict isn't always good, especially when you're ready to face it. When my brother finished speaking, I looked at him seriously and determined about what I was going to say.